This is a Java class named brick that represents a brick object. The class has private instance variables for the row and column of the brick, its width and height, a Boolean value to represent its visibility, an integer value to store the offset position, and a color object to represent its color. The class has a constructor that takes in parameters for the row, column, width, height, offset position, and color of the brick. It initializes the instance variables with the passed values, and sets the visibility of the brick to true. The draw method takes in a graphics object as a parameter and draws the brick if it is visible. It sets the color of the graphics object to the color of the brick, and fills a rectangle with the specified width and height at the position of the brick on the screen. The isVisible method returns the Boolean value representing whether or not the brick is visible. The getRect method returns a rectangle object representing the position and size of the brick on the screen. It calculates the position of the brick based on its row, column, width, height, and offset position, and returns a rectangle object with those values. This is a Java class named BrickBreaker that extends the JPanel class and implements the Action Listener and KeyListener interfaces. It represents a simple brick-breaking game. The class has private instance variables for the width and height of the game screen, a timer object to update the game state, Boolean values to represent whether the game is currently being played and whether the game is over, integer values to represent the position and direction of the ball and paddle, the width and height of the paddle and ball, the score and level of the player, and a 2D array of brick objects to represent the bricks in the game. The class has a constructor that initializes the instance variables and sets up the bricks in the game by creating a 2D array of brick objects with different colors. Paint method that is called when the screen is repainted. This method draws the game elements, including the score and level, the paddle, the ball, the bricks, and the game borders. It also displays a game over message if the game is over. Action performed method that is called by the timer object to update the game state. It checks for collisions between the ball and the paddle, the ball and the bricks, and the ball and the game borders. It also checks if all the bricks have been destroyed, and if so, it increments the level and resets the bricks and ball position. Key pressed method that moves the paddle left or right when the left or right arrow keys are pressed. Reset game method that resets the game state when the player restarts the game. This is a Java class named GameLauncher that contains a main method to launch the BrickBreaker game. The class creates an instance of the JFrame class, which represents a window in a Java Swing GUI application. The JFrame is given the title BrickBreaker. The class then creates an instance of the BrickBreaker class, which is the main game class that extends the JPanel class and contains the game logic. The JFrame's default close operation is set to exit_on_close, which means that the application will exit when the user closes the window. The BrickBreaker instance is added to the JFrame using the add method, which adds the game panel to the window. The JFrame size is set to 830 pixels wide and 650 pixels tall using the setSize method. This is larger than the default size of the game window, which was set in the BrickBreaker class. The JFrame's resizable property is set to false, which means that the user cannot resize the window. The JFrame's location is set to null, which means that the window will be centered on the screen. Finally, the JFrame's visibility is set to true, which means that the window will be displayed on the screen.